Hey folks, welcome to the call to action, heroes gather, whatever we want to call it, video for the next big Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening Let's Play, or just, well, let's put it this way. This is a Zerfall charity event reward series for 2024, because I got a year behind. So I'm recording this off my PS5. This is actually the first video I've recorded off my PS5, and it's a video related to a game I was already playing on PS4. Go figure. But as I record this, I guess I might as well tell you the date because it's going to affect when things are due. This is the 1st of August, and I have finished, although they haven't all been posted yet, the Let's Play of Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening, where we played as the forces of Kagetora Nagao, later became known as Kenshin Uesugi. And by popular demand, which is a couple of people suggested this, and no really more than one or two people suggested anything else. We're going to play as the Chosakabe, particularly under the leadership of Munechika Chosakabe. And I will tell you that I played for about half an hour off screen, and we are about to be destroyed by the Amago. Or sorry, the Miyoshi, excuse me. Because I attacked a clan that was directly north of me, which gave me a border with the Miyoshi, who start the game. I have one castle. They start the game with... let's see, are they the most powerful force in the game at the beginning? Yes, they are. At the beginning of this scenario, they have 14 castles. I have 1. So they have significantly more troops than, say, the Nagao, who we played as last time, or the Takeda. They are the strongest force in the game, and we have a single border with them if we attack up this way. So, amongst other things, when we begin our new series, I'm not going to attack that way. Not initially. I think we have to attack Aki first. I was trying to get events to trigger, and I think I noticed one. I think I misread one, and I'm probably supposed to attack Aki first. But anyway, so here's evidence that it is possible to lose, and the losing screen is nothing exciting. You just get a screen that says all of your castles are fallen. Your ambition of conquest ends here. It's like the same screen that you'd see when any clan falls, but you get a different message. So I'm not going to bother to show it, other than to say, yeah, it's possible to lose. Off screen, I've got all the endings available and queued up to show in a finale of the Uesugi campaign. So as we play as the Chosakabe, we're just going to kind of try to get all the events and then go through and just win. But to play as the Chosakabe, to live like the Chosakabe, to be like the Chosakabe, we're going to get a new set of edited officers. So, Zerfall has kindly sent me, although I'm sure he did it way back when it was brand new information, he sent me the list of people who donated in the 2024 Zerfall charity stream towards the mysterious JG incentive. Now, bear in mind again, if you just donated in the 2025, that'll be the next series. Tentative plan right now is to go back and play Romance 3 Kingdoms again. I know there's a high-def version of 8 that's out, but I think I want to go back to... I don't remember the number, if it was 14, whichever one we played where we were playing as Yuan Shu and we were pink. And it had characters from Atelier Riza in it, which is actually what led me to play Atelier Riza. So that worked. Way to go, Tecmo Koei. I spent hundreds of dollars on Riza games and DLCs at this point. But I want to go back and play that game again, I think, as another force. I got a very tentative plan to play Romance 3 Kingdoms as Ma Teng after we finish playing this as the Chosakabe. But this will be a long series, and I might change my mind. I'm really enjoying this game. But I could be talked into, over the course of the series, people can suggest other things. I wouldn't mind going back and giving Nobunaga's Ambition, oh god, now I'm blanking on the name. The one, Taishi, I wouldn't mind giving Taishi another play. It was harder to get the historical events to work and figure out than this game. One of the reasons I really like this game is it's much easier to figure out the historical events. But Taishi has, and still has, I think, the best combat in the games. I find it the most interesting. It's the most boring as far as like actual city management and force management. By the way, we've been talking for 5 minutes, so I want to go ahead and get to it. So the donators I've got on my list: fulfillment note. Oh wait, that's probably not a donator. That's probably a label. All right. So anyway, I'm showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 donators. So if none of these, so it's kind of on the honor list. Like if you write and say, hey, this is Shaman, and your account name isn't Shaman, but you say you're Shaman, I'm probably going to make your character. Although I think Shaman does have a YouTube username that has Shaman in it. But some people's usernames don't quite match up with the nicknames they like to use in the charity stream and stuff. So you're kind of on the honor list. Like if on your honor here, if somebody like AuldDragon pops up and someone whose username is like Fartknocker420 shows up and says, this is AuldDragon, I'm going to know it's not you. But it's probably possible to trick me here. Please do not attempt that. That's mean. So the donators I've got, and this should be a pretty well-refined list this year, because this was the first year I remember for sure that Zerfall figured it out so that you called out the donation incentive you want, and it wasn't just him giving me a list of people who donated more than 100 and who we thought were the ones. So hopefully I'll see 14 responses in the comments and 14 characters. But what I've got are AprilMoxt, Shaman, Aquizar7257. I'm going to actually try to say it for real. Anghammarand, Eccentrick, KazuhiroSamaDesu, the Errol King, with an underscore, AuldDragon, Lawrencein, Iron Ant, Mr. History Buff 1, Commando 293, Bob Jackson, and Colin Lancaster. Some familiar names in there. Some of the longtime JG fans didn't seem to make it that year. I understand. Hope you're still watching. Won't name anyone by name because I'll forget somebody if I do. There's a few people who always have a character, even if they don't submit one. I think at this point, Ald, who participates in the stream every year, would probably be one of them, but he's a decent fellow who donates and picks this incentive regardless of the fact that he'd probably get in even if he didn't. There's always characters for, Vulture Bean and Vulture Bobo and Vulture Bronco and Vulture BB. Bronco and BB have never donated, those little skinflint sons of... But Grimmeth will have a character, Lethal Feline will have a character. That's kind of, and Zerfall himself, Jack Soars, and Size Indeterminate Zerfina. They will all have characters. Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much the people who donate. So there are people that I have fond memories of as characters who are not going to reappear if they didn't donate this time. So here, I'll read it again. AprilMoxt, Shaman, Aquizar7257, Anghammarand, Eccentric, KazuhiroSamaDesu, the Earl King, AuldDragon, Lawrencein, Iron Ant, Mr. History Buff 1, Commando 293, Bob Jackson, and Colin Lancaster. If you are pretty sure, pretty sure you donated into 2024 and you didn't show up, I guess give me some kind of narrative in the comments about what's going on. If you donated in 2025 and you really want to be considered for this one instead. If you donated twice in 2025 with some kind of message to Zerf saying, hey, please see if I can be included in both. Yeah, I mean, I'll be as flexible here as I can, bearing in mind that I'm got an older gentleman who hasn't taken the best care of my body over the years, so I'm not a gymnast. But I'll try to be flexible, and we'll try to make this fun and cool for all. If you donated last year, like if you had somebody in the last one we just finished and you have somebody again and you want me to just make the same, or like not remake them, but just do the same, that's actually super handy and simple for me. So I wouldn't object to that one bit. Otherwise, I think it would be, well, let me make this a standalone. I was going to send you guys to another video, like last year's video, so I don't have to repeat, but let's go ahead and just make this a standalone video. So for the faces, I've got, I don't think any new portraits were added. There is something called extra officers, but I don't know what happened there. I feel like maybe at some point they planned DLC that would include extra characters and never released it. Because there does seem to be a DLC that's available now that I never got for this game, but it's just more scenarios. There's nothing about extra officers. So the male faces, it's column. These are columns. No, sorry. These are rows. These are columns. Columns are vertical. Rows are horizontal. So this is row 1, the different columns. This is the different columns of row 2. That's a cool portrait. That's Uncle Baldo. If a portrait is already taken by somebody from the last Let's Play, my suggestion, I should have said this earlier, give me your top 3 choices. Column, just put like C, like if you want this portrait, do C1, R1. If you want this portrait, do C3, R3. This would be C4, R3, Mr. Schultz. Anyway. Grand Theft Auto 5 is ready to play because I'm in the process of transferring my PS4 hard drive over to PS5. Hey, did you know that if you buy a PS5 Pro and it doesn't come with any kind of disc reading hardware, and if you transfer over your old PS4 games, it will ask you for the disc even though you don't have the ability to read them? And an external disc reader is available, but it will not even have a message that says you don't have an external disc reader. You can get an external disc reader if you want. No, it'll just tell you to insert the disc even though you don't have a way to do it, because what the fuck? Anyway, so this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's row 7. I may have skipped the row above with Lita's grandma on it. The hell with it, I'm not doing this again. I changed my mind. I will link the video for last year where I did go through these. So here's a character, the Bloody Handed. He was a big part of a prior Let's Play, and I haven't seen that viewer since, so I don't think he's still around. But I mean, without going through and showing them all close up, here's row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, row 8, row 9, row 10. Here's a prior Baldo picture that was not used by Baldo this time. I've used this one before, I think, with the ruffled collar. Various ninjas in this row. So yeah, give me just in case anybody doubles up or 2 people ask for the same portrait, give me your first choice, your second choice, and your third choice. Give me like C and then a number for the column, and then R and a number for the row. And if you really want to see all these, like this one looks pretty cool. If you want to see all these portraits close up, I will include a link to the prior character creation video where I went through them all. Here's Kenshin's cousin, Benjin. And finally, you can play as Senryo Kyoshiro. There's actually also female portraits. I should have showed them off too. It's always fun to have a few female created officers in there to just mix it up a bit. Although at one point I thought we were going to be able to make use of the marriage mechanic. There's not a whole lot I can do with that because it seems like only the daimyo can get married in this game. Historical ones, I'm just not going to offer up the historical ones. Please choose from male, female, and then add. Nobody used any ad portraits this time. They are mostly, I guess, alternate portraits of famous officers. Don't know who that's supposed to be. This is probably a reference to a portrait from an earlier game in the series. But if you want one of these, let me know. For stats, personality doesn't seem to affect anything except the voice. AI level, C, B, A, and S. I guess that affects how the AI behaves in battle. Although actually you get to control your units in battle. So I never really did figure out for sure what AI level does. Rebellious is basically a numerical score. The higher this is, the more of a loyalty penalty there is. And as last time, I'm going to stick with everybody is just going to be on my force. I've done Let's Plays in the past where I let you pick a force and you could be an AI character on another force. I'm not going to do that this time. So if you set your rebellious level high, it means your officer will be a pain in the ass to keep happy. It is possible that your officer will defect from the force. This has not come up, but I've always generally intend if an officer defects from the force and I capture them, I'm going to execute them. if they're a created officer. But like the one time that happened was Frox's Nelock defected, and I kind of headcanted my way into taking her back. The tenant affects a couple of things, but they're all pretty minor. It may affect how well you get along with the daimyo, which will affect your loyalty. But there are certain skills which will create a bonus to loyalty only for conservative officers, or boost the power only of conservative officers, and other ones for progressive officers. I suppose I actually owe it to you guys to check real quick. On Motochika Chosakabe, because he's going to be our daimyo for most of this. So, what order? It's supposed to be ordered by name. What is going on? Alright, this is annoying the hell out of me, but I think this will actually be faster. I'm just going to... Let's continue this scenario where I was about to get wiped. And we'll take a quick look at Motochika Chosakabe. He is not currently the daimyo. At this point, his father is still alive and is the daimyo. But Motochika is... neutral tenant. We don't get to see his personality, but he's neutral tenant, which is fine. That's actually kind of handy for you guys. It means if you want to roleplay as somebody who is like a Japanese traditionalist who is opposed to the Westerners arriving and is going to be probably more inclined towards cavalry tactics than Nobukatsu, you just don't come off well in your portrait. But if you want to be conservative, that broadly means in this game you're opposed to Western influence and you probably favor cavalry tactics over musket tactics. If you are progressive, that generally means you are open to Western influence and are likely to have better musket tactics than cavalry tactics. And when you're neutral, you're neutral. So that's what that one means. Station, I do understand this better now. This is purely a from left to right. The higher your station, the higher office you are allowed to take. So a chief can only be a substitute. That is an officer who is controlling a territory in the daimyo's main castle. An infantry leader is not high enough to be lord of a castle, but they can be the sort of the local leader of a district attached to a castle that is not the daimyo's castle. A samurai leader is high enough up to be an actual lord of a castle with infantry leaders underneath them leading the district surrounding the castle. Captains, senior retainers, and senior officers are allowed to have more than one district they control. So like a senior officer could be the lord of a castle and also controlling the districts around the castle, which for purposes of this game means they will automatically be seizing farms and markets, building things to improve the castle, blah, blah, blah. So having senior officers and senior retainers is definitely important and powerful. And there's other minor things as well, like what skills they can have. I don't actually remember what I made JG Mystery. He's a senior retainer. So yeah, that's a good thing to be. Origin and talent, I don't know what this does. So if you are making a new character, let me know if you want to be a samurai, aristocrat, priest, merchant, pirate, ninja, blade master, commoner, strategist, or official. And as I think I forgot to say before, let me know if you want to be chief, infantry leader, samurai leader, captain, senior retainer, or senior officer. The voices, it almost never comes up, but for the men, you can be normal, rough, gallant, stern, cool, brave, schemer, elegant, elder, normal, gallant, kind. Oh, no, sorry, these are the female ones too. Elder. If you're female, actually any officer can have any voice. You can have a female officer who has male schemer voice, but it's male elder, then female normal, female gallant, female kind. I think I was male cool. Then for religion, you can have no religion. You can be a Buddhist. You can be Iko Shu, which I think is a specific a specific sect that was giving. I probably should have looked this up, but like there's a specific sect that I think is associated with the Honganji guys who are kind of being a pain in the ass to Nobunaga in particular. I don't think this particularly represents the Shinto. I think this is a specific Buddhist sect, or you can be a Christian. And this is, again, there's going to be certain... This might affect how well you get along with the daimyo. This might affect some other things. I think I made JG Mystery a nun. Here is something that I didn't properly understand, even though it tells you it's my fault I wasn't getting it, but leader, valor, intelligence, and poll. I kind of misunderstood this. Somebody in the comments let me know about it, but they started watching pretty late into the series. Or the series had been, you know, quite far in before they got around to watching it. But leader affects the damage taken by units in battle, but it also affects county seizure speed. So I didn't understand this. I thought leadership and valor were entirely combat. Intelligence had some combat and some diplomacy slash plot implications, and poll was poll. Leadership affects how quickly settlements are seized, and a big part of the domestics in this game is that you have a castle, and there are counties surrounding the castle, and you're out there seizing and taking control for the castle of farmland and markets, and you can build facilities, which is different from county seizure, I guess. Civil affairs, yeah, the speed at which you build facilities might be entirely down to poll. But leadership is how quickly you seize farms and markets, which is actually really important. So like JG Mystery, who's meant to be pretty much an entirely non-combat guy, he's meant to be an entirely political official, is actually not built as streamlined as he should be, because his speed seizing settlements is like above average instead of amazing. So I'm going to tweak him right now. I'm going to take 5 each. Oh, because you get to spend a total of 320 points, which makes you a well above average officer. Nobody's created officer rivals Kenshin or Shingen or Nobunaga, but everybody's created officers are well above average for the officers in the game. So I'm going to take 5 points out of each of these, put 10 more points into this. Then I'm going to take about 20 points out of this. 20 more points into this. Maybe 5 more out of here. So he's just not completely hopeless. Because the other thing is that if you're the leader of a district and then they go into combat, you don't really typically switch officers to have, because like if he's leading a district, when it's time to march, the troops from that district are going to be under his command. So you're not really able to go around, okay, I'm going to put my best political guy in charge, and then when it's time to fight, I'm going to switch out. Most of the time, you're not doing that. So you want to have people who are good at all those things. So JG Mystery is now near perfect in all the areas that matter as far as maintaining the castles. Intelligence actually doesn't do as many things as I thought it did. But I've always built JG as an intelligence character, and I don't have the heart to change it now. For the tactics, I don't know that I read through all the tactics before, so I'll do the same thing I did last time, which is kind of leave them up on the screen so that you can see what they do if you care. You can pause and look at the tactics if you have interest in going into them in depth. One-eyed master, taking old one-eyed Jack down to the optometrist. I'm assuming the things that are based on, they're based on either intelligence or valor. So like JG Mystery, for example, would definitely want to pick an intelligence skill because it's more likely to trigger or to be effective. Than a valor skill would be for him. If you're a character with very high valor, you'd want the opposite. I think what he has is against all odds, which is valor based, so that's actually stupid. I don't think I was paying attention to that. I want to make him one-eyed master, but that's not good for him either. I'll grab some intelligence-based ones. Crack troops, stamina restored. Now is the time. Attack increased, defense decreased. Total unity, little demon. Ah, it's a little demon. 10-pronged assault seems pretty good for him. Overseer traits are, let's see, you got your overseer traits and your conservative traits. We're only going to have, we can have one conservator, and then we can have up to 2 additional conservators, but only if we have vassals, and it can only be the vassal daimyos. So very few characters' conservative traits are going to make a difference, and they all have like a advantage and a disadvantage to them. So rather than showing you the descriptions, I'll let you see the advantage and disadvantage, but bear in mind, this probably isn't going to make a difference. So like, for example, provision purchase special has increases the days of provision 60, decreases gold income by 40%. But there's a normal and a good version of the same where it's like a lesser, like, oh, it increases by 15 days, but only decreases gold by 10%. So it's kind of like a minor, moderate, and extreme version of each of these tenets. And these tenets always give you a positive effect, and you pay a negative effect as a result. And like the one I used for most all of the last game was a meritocracy that I gave to Vulture Bean because it made our officers with really high stats were really happy, and our officers with low stats got a negative penalty, and I figured it didn't matter if we lost the low stat officers. By the end of the game, you just need all the officers you can get. Because having an officer rule a district, no matter how bad their stats are, the better our officer's poll score is, the more gold and, you know, food you're going to get out of that district. Because the poll score primarily affects the economic returns of the territory governed by that officer. But even an officer with a very low poll score is going to provide a boost to, compared to a territory that is under your control and you don't have any officer ruling it. It will give you the basement lowest level of gold and food. So garbage officers have their place in this game if you've got enough territory that you can allocate them to territories that you don't have enough officers to have good officers there. And officers don't cost you anything in this game. It's not a game like most of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms game. There's always an officer stipend. In this game, officers, if you can keep them happy and maintain their loyalty, they are with you, and there's no downside to having officers working for you who aren't doing anything. So anyway, musket drill makes your muskets better and decreases cavalry. This might actually be pretty good because you can pick cavalry or you can pick muskets, and you can do both, but it's usually not that good an idea because there's only a handful of officers that can take advantage of it. Those are called dragoons. They have cavalry and musket. There's not many that can do that, and most of them work for the Date. Maybe we'll make the... Yeah, let's do this. Well, we won't use JG right away. I'll probably use somebody else first, but musket drill special would be... maybe we can have him and just not use a lot of cavalry guys. Strength of years I think I had for him increases officer loyalties who serve for 3 or more years by a lot, decreases the new officers by a little. This one seems strange. There may be a typo here because it's like you can get the negative amount is always showing as 1, so I think this is probably a typo. That's what he had before, actually. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put him back to that. But strengthens musket damage when in possession of musket trait. Weakens musket damage when there is no musket trait. Increases masked soldiers, decreases gold income. So you kind of see what these things are about. If this is a thing you could... Well, no, because this is these are conservators. So you have one of these people, and they are their skill affects all units and all cities because they are one conservator over your entire empire. So yeah, I think pretty hard on this one. But I think elite musketeers would be an interesting thing for somebody to have because, like, well, not excuse me, this one I wouldn't want because it decreases your max soldiers. But one of these. Free market, increase gold, decrease max soldiers. See, there's always a pretty big bite. Like, if we had the Hojo guy for a long time giving us a lot of food, but eventually it got super expensive and I had to drop it. Off screen when I was finishing that game to get all of the conquest, I had to drop it because it just became the effect, like, eventually I was, like, had so many things going on, and the gold loss was not... Couldn't do it. Farmland promoter, harvest amounts go up, disaster prevention rate goes down. This is a roll in the dice one that might be worth taking, too. Because the disaster prevention... Actually, I kind of like this one, farmland promoter. Because disaster prevention, well, sometimes... Although Shikoku seem to get a lot of hurricanes just from watching typhoons, excuse me. I don't know, these are worth... I don't have to think about it. I don't have to decide right now for JG Mystery. But musket drill would be an interesting one. Because it's decreasing something that you like. It's the disadvantage is on something that might not impact you. And then farmland promoter is an interesting one because it's a disaster prevention rate is decreased by 200%. But there were points where I had 100% disaster prevention, which means actually 200 would be pretty insurmountable. But something like farmland promoter normal or good is a thing I might actually get some use at. But I skipped past overseer traits, so that's these. Overseer traits are I'm going to have a total of 5 overseers. Eventually, it takes a long time to get to being able to afford all 5, but these are much more likely to actually... You're much more likely to actually get a chance to be an overseer. So I will kind of scroll through these and let you see what they do. I think I'm going to tweak some of the officers I created. Like Way of the Oda might be a fun one. County occupation speed up. These have 1 to 2. I'm just going to show you the first one. Some of them have 2. Some of them even have 3. Maintain seizure of farm villages and fairs when occupying counties. All defending units defense up. Castle defense and blockade up. Oh, but that doesn't show up until you get level 2 of the thing. But yeah, these are the different things you can get. Some of the ones I gave to created officers weren't as useful as I thought they would be when I went in and played the game. The way of these specific clans, it's almost a cheat to give that to your created officer, unless you want them to have way of the Chosakabe, which we already have access to. It feels like a cheat that you would have, like, because I gave Grimmeth way of the Tokugawa because it was good. But, you know, the hell with it, it's fun. Easy commerce. Didn't end up getting as much out of that as I thought I would. King of the Fighters 14 is ready to play, by the way. Discretionary power assignment. Mine overseer. Arms overseer. Supply overseer is a very good one. Western overseer, so you can be cowboy, baby. Shooting gallery musket level bonus. I mean, if you want to be a guy whose gimmick is guns, you could pick that and a musket drill thing. I didn't mean to switch him, though. I was talking about it, and then I wasn't actually going to go through with it. Domestic priority. I have to go back and figure out what he had before I changed it up. Traits. Everybody gets 3 traits. So I'll just go through them and you can pick 3 traits. Some of the conditions will affect certain things. So I gave JG Mystery Civil Construction, which means you build stuff faster. I kind of cribbed some of this off of Ana Takatatsu. Expert Fortifier, which means this is a very important one for certain officers, but it's not going to come up. I don't need a lot of people with this, but you build town facilities at level 2. Instead of being at level 1, the first time you build, it automatically jumps to level 2, and then Eagle-Eyed helps prevent covert actions. But we also have Utmost Devotion, Networking, Reputation. Again, I'm just going to scroll through, and you can pause and read which one you want, or just look for ones that have cool names. And honestly, if you want to just give me your... If you want to just say, hey, pick something with a battle theme or a... I understand, because I'm kind of zipping through this and not doing reading through of everything. So when it comes to tactics, overseer trait, conservator traits, and traits. If you want to just say, hey, I'm theming my guy to be a political officer, or I'm theming my guy to be this, or I'm theming my guy to be that, I'm cool with that. I'll just put something in that's appropriate. But do go ahead and give me your leader, valor, intelligence, poll. Birth to death. I think I'm not going to redo this because we're playing over roughly the same period, actually, to start the life of Munechika Chosakabe. So I believe we're going to end up playing Conquering Owari as our scenario. And that begins in 1553. I want to say you have to be 16 to be playable as an officer. So bear that in mind. But to be honest with you, no one's likely to die of old age in this thing. Unless you intentionally set your birth year back to before 1543. So this one doesn't make that big of a difference. Lifespan, you can tell me what you want your lifespan to be. 110 is the maximum. That's what almost everyone went with, because most folks wanted to see their character live through the whole scenario. But if you have a specific birth date or lifespan, let me know. And if you don't care, let me know that too. For location, everybody is being set to... I thought I had changed this off screen. But everybody is going to be set to Oko Castle, because that's the home base of the Chosakabe. And then if you want to select officer for whom you have deep affection, that means you'll just have like a high affinity with them. I honestly am not sure what that means. I have not figured out what that means in this particular game. It might mean if you're in the same castle, your stats are improved in some way. It's never really come up. If you're not the daimyo, which would mean that you're unlikely to stay in a force with an officer that you hate, or unlikely to betray a force with an officer you love. Otherwise, I don't know what it means. Played through an entire game, won the game, never figured out what that one meant. So there you go, folks. That's kind of it. I thought I had edited all of the officers. To all come from this castle. And I thought that had taken. And it did now. So I don't know. But anyway, that's it. So I'm recording this and posting it on the 1st of August. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look at my calendar here. I know for a fact, I'm going to give, damn, man, this has gone 40 minutes and I didn't even do I was trying to actually go quickly. All right. So it's the 1st of August. I am going to say you need to submit your officers by Wednesday the 13th of August. Okay? Wednesday, August 13th. Apologize to anybody who submitted a character and was like out of town or not checking their, or wasn't watching me this week and you missed it. Let me know after the fact. It'll be too late to add you, but I can put you in for a future one or something. But yeah, I'm giving you to Wednesday, August the 13th. So that is a week and a half. That'll give me an opportunity to get the officers created and to start recording videos about 2 weeks from today to get the new series going. But yeah, that's about it. Just in case I haven't said enough, you can go back and watch the prior video. I'll link that in the comments. If there's something you didn't understand here, it might be explained there. But we're playing as the Chosakabe. We're playing from around the time of that Battle of Okehazama scenario, because that's around the time that Motochika was a rising officer in his father's force. I've already read the list of people who have a character. If you thought you should be on the list and you didn't hear your name, I guess send me something in the comments. Otherwise, in the comments, I need, I guess I'll just do that real quick one more time. Let me adjust some here. Go ahead and pick a face. Give me the the column and the row in your first 3 choices. You need a first name and a last name, and as you see, that's how they will appear. And there's a bit of a character limit on this too. So like if I wanted my name to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that actually works. Full name can contain up to 28 characters. Interesting. All right, but by full name they mean both. So like you couldn't have that many letters on both characters. What do you? Yeah, so JG Mystery. All right, select a gender, select a voice, select an AI level, select a score of 0 through 20 on how rebellious you are, which basically is a thing that makes it more likely that you will want to defect from the Force. A tenant, a station. If you leave origin and talent alone, I'll figure it out. If you leave religion alone, I'll figure it out. But go ahead and fill everything out from this. For ability, I need your leadership, valor, intelligence, and pull. They add up to 320. Either pick a trait, tactic, overseer trait, conservative trait, and 3 traits. Or let me know, hey, you know what? I don't really want to go through all that. Here's my general idea of what I want my officer to be, and I will pick ones for you. And if you do that, honestly, I'm probably going to give you ones that aren't as super overpowered as you might pick for yourself. Like, I don't want everyone to have, like, the same freaking battle skills that Kenshin had, because Kenshin was supposed to be, like, the greatest freaking warrior who ever lived. Give me your birth date and your lifespan if you care, and if you don't, you're kind of going to model... You're going to follow what JG Mystery and Vulture Bean and all the characters I just generically created have. And you don't have to worry about locations, but if you care about deep affection and disgust officers, go ahead and list some. And if you don't worry about it, because I don't think it does anything. So that's it. That was the short version. I suppose that's how long the whole video should have been. But if you enjoyed this series, you probably don't mind listening to me talk at great length, because that's kind of what the series is. Thanks for watching. I hope to hear from everybody. Yeah, I'm going to miss, like if Ana Takatatsu, for example, is not in this Let's Play, unless she is replaced by a new character from the same person, because I don't remember who created Ana Takatatsu off the top of my head. I'm going to miss some of the old heroes who helped us along the way. People like Shaman C with his own district, although Shaman C did donate, so I imagine we'll be seeing him again. But looking forward to the new crew coming in and helping with what could be... I think as far as getting all the history stuff to work, it could be simpler, because some of it I'm just going to have to create an alternate history and show the Chosekabe history. A lot of the Chosekabe history events are about them in a kind of futile struggle against the Hashiba, which they can't actually win. So I'm going to try to find a way to show all of those, but maybe not actually have them be part of our canon playthrough, similar to how I showed the downfall of Kenshin and the conflict between Kenshin's heirs in videos during our Uesugi playthrough, but then in our actual Uesugi playthrough, we reached the point where Kenshin was at his strongest, and from there, we went on to finish off Shingen and win the game. Chosekabe, I'll try to do something similar. I have a feeling that Chosekabe is going to be a little bit more difficult, because Kenshin is one of the most powerful daimyos in Japan, so this one's going to be harder, but hopefully I learned something playing through the first time, and hopefully you guys will be in the crowd cheering me on, giving me tips in the comments, and maybe even have people come back. We used to have people role play, write little vignettes about what their characters were doing in the comments. Maybe we'll see some more of that. I don't know. But I've already been talking way longer than I intended. And I will catch you guys with your submissions by the 13th of August. Bye-bye.